The glass shattered against the marble floor before anyone could breathe. Get out. The boy froze. 14 years old. Still in his school uniform. Still holding the crystal award he had just won that evening. He stared at his father across the long dining table. What? I said get out. His father didn't raise his voice. He never did. That made it worse. His mother's fingers trembled against her wine glass. Maybe we should. Not tonight. The father cut in coldly. 2 security guards stepped forward. The boy laughed nervously. Is this a joke? His father stood slowly. You embarrassed this family. I defended someone, the boy shot back. They were humiliating him because he's poor. And you humiliated our partners in the process. Silence swallowed the room. The father walked closer. You want to understand the world outside wealth? You think money makes us monsters. The boy swallowed. I didn't say that. You implied it. The father's voice hardened. You have 10 minutes. Take nothing that belongs to this family. No money. No phone. No cards. The boy's eyes widened. Dad, stop. Call me sir. The words hit harder than the order. His mother whispered. Please, he's just a child. Then let him grow, the father replied. Security gently but firmly removed the boy's watch. His phone. His wallet. Dad, please. His voice cracked. Where am I supposed to go? That, his father said calmly, is the first lesson. The gates opened. Rain poured down. The boy stepped outside barefoot because he hadn't had time to grab proper shoes. The gates closed behind him with a metallic finality that echoed in his chest. By midnight, the billionaire's son was homeless. If you're already feeling that tension, hit the like button now because this story only gets deeper. He walked down the long driveway, rain soaking his uniform. He turned back once. No one was at the window. No one watching. At least, that's what he thought. The city felt different when you weren't riding in the back of a chauffeured car. Louder. Dirtier. Colder. He approached a taxi. Can you take me to? The driver looked at his empty hands. Money. I don't have any right now. The driver scoffed and drove off. He kept walking. Midnight became 1 a.m. Hunger crept in. Fear followed. At a bus station, he sat beside an old man wrapped in a thin blanket. You look lost, the man said. I'm fine, the boy replied automatically. The man chuckled. Nobody who says that at midnight in the rain is fine. The boy stared at the ground. My father kicked me out. For how long? He hesitated. He didn't say. The old man nodded slowly. Then it's permanent. The boy felt his throat tighten. He wouldn't do that. The old man looked at him carefully. You sure about that? The question lingered. Morning arrived without comfort. His stomach growled painfully. He walked into a small restaurant and approached the counter. I need food, he said quietly. Join the line. The cashier replied. He stepped forward. When it was his turn, he whispered. I don't have money right now. But I can pay later. The cashier rolled her eyes. Everyone says that. I'm not lying. The manager came over. What's the problem? He wants to eat for free. The manager studied him. You some rich kid playing a game? No, then prove it. Wash dishes. The boy stiffened. He had never washed a single plate in his life. Fine, he said. The kitchen was loud, hot, and chaotic. Plates slammed into the sink. Grease coated his fingers. Water burned his skin. Move faster, someone shouted. I'm trying. Trying doesn't pay salaries. By noon, his hands were red and shaking. A cook laughed. What? Your mansion didn't prepare you for this. The boy clenched his jaw. I don't live in a mansion. Sure you don't. When his shift ended, the manager handed him a small plate of leftovers. That's your pay. He stared at it. This is all. You want more? Earn more. He walked outside with the plate and sat on the curb. Tears mixed with rainwater as he ate cold rice with trembling hands. Across the street, a black SUV idled briefly before driving away. He didn't notice. That night, he tried calling home from a borrowed phone. The number had been disconnected. His knees buckled. They erased me, he whispered, back at the mansion. His father stood in a dark room watching a live security feed of his son sitting alone under a streetlight. A security chief asked quietly. Sir, are you certain? The father's jaw tightened. Do not interfere unless his life is in danger. And if he comes back? He won't. The father turned away from the screen, but not before his eyes lingered 1 second too long. Back outside, the boy lay on a cold bench. He stared at the sky. Fine, he whispered to himself. If this is the world, I'll survive it. He didn't know that this was only the beginning. And if you think he should fight back or forgive his father, comment below right now. The next part changes everything. Morning didn't bring hope. It brought cold that he woke up stiff on the bench, neck aching, clothes still damp. For a few seconds, he forgot. Then it all rushed back. The table, the order, the gates closing. He sat up slowly. It's not real, he muttered to himself. He'll send someone. No one came. By midday, the restaurant manager called him back into the kitchen. You're late. I slept outside. Not my problem. The boy clenched his fists. I need actual pay. The manager smirked. You need skill. I can learn. Then prove it. He was handed heavier work. Trash duty. Grease traps. Mopping floors no one else wanted to touch. A cook whispered to another. Look at his hands. Soft. He won't last a week. The boy heard it. He worked faster. Hours passed. His back screamed. His stomach growled again. When the shift ended, the manager tossed him a few crumpled bills. You're improving. He stared at the money. It wasn't much. But it was his. Outside, 2 teenagers blocked his path. Nice uniform, one mocked. It's not mine anymore, he said quietly. They laughed. What are you, some fallen prince? Leave him, the other muttered, noticing his empty expression. They walked away. That night, he tried finding a cheap place to sleep. ID? The motel clerk asked. He hesitated. His wallet was gone. No ID, no room. I can pay cash. Policy. He walked out again. Rain returned like it was part of the punishment. Under a bridge, he sat hugging his knees. Footsteps approached. A rough-looking man stopped a few feet away. You new here? Yes. Got money. The boy's heart raced. Not much. The man stepped closer. Then you better learn fast. Out here, people take. He swallowed. Why are you telling me this? Because someone told me once. The man sat down beside him. What happened to you? My father wanted to teach me a lesson. The man laughed bitterly. Rich people love lessons. The boy looked up sharply. How did you know? You still talk like you've never been told no before. The words stung. Later that night, footsteps echoed again. Different ones. Slow. Measured. A shadow moved behind a pillar. The boy's instincts screamed. He stood up quickly. Who's there? No answer. The shadow disappeared. He stayed awake until sunrise. Back at the mansion, the security chief spoke quietly. Sir, he slept under a bridge. The father's hands tightened behind his back. And he was approached. Did he handle it? Yes. Then continue observing. The security chief hesitated. He's 14. So was I, the father replied coldly. Meanwhile, at the restaurant, things escalated. A senior worker shoved him aside. You're slowing us down. I'm doing my best. Your best is garbage. I'm not garbage. The kitchen went silent. The manager stepped in. Lower your voice. He pushed me. And you shouted. The manager leaned closer. Out here, nobody cares who started it. Only who survives it. The boy's breathing became uneven. You think I can't survive? I think you don't know what that word means. He grabbed his small paycheck and walked out before he could say something worse. Outside, he stared at the city skyline. I won't beg, he whispered. I won't crawl back. But doubt crept in. That evening, hunger forced him back to the same restaurant. The manager crossed his arms. Back already? I need more shifts. You need thicker skin. I'll get it. The manager studied him carefully. Why didn't you go home? The question pierced. He hesitated. Because home doesn't want me. Silence lingered. The manager sighed. Come tomorrow at 6. A tiny victory. That night, he saved half his pay instead of spending all of it. He held the money tightly. This is mine, he told himself. Across the street, the same black SUV parked briefly. Inside, a man spoke into a headset. He refused to quit. Back at the mansion, his mother stood outside her husband's office. You're watching him suffer. I'm watching him grow. He's a child. He won't be. Her voice trembled. And if he breaks? The father looked up slowly. Then he was never fit to lead. The next day brought worse humiliation. A customer spilled soup deliberately and snapped his fingers. Clean it. The boy knelt and wiped the floor. The customer muttered loudly. Rich brats should learn this early. The boy froze. How did you? The man smirked but said nothing. Someone knew. That night, the old man from the bus station found him again. You're still here. I don't have anywhere else. The old man handed him a small piece of bread. You're angry. Yes. Good. The boy frowned. Good. Anger is fuel. Just don't let it burn you. He stared at the city lights. What if my father never calls? The old man looked at him steadily. Then you build something so big, he has to. The words planted something dangerous. For the first time since the gates closed, the boy didn't feel small, he felt challenged. And somewhere in the darkness, someone kept watching. If you're still here, you already know this isn't just about survival. It's about transformation. Stay with this story, because the next part is where everything changes. 3 weeks past. 3 weeks of Greece, cold benches, humiliation, and silence from home. He stopped expecting a call. He stopped looking back when cars slowed near him. He stopped introducing himself with his last name. One evening, after another exhausting shift, the manager pulled him aside. You're different, the man said. How? You don't complain anymore. He wiped sweat from his forehead. Complaining doesn't change anything. The manager nodded slowly. You learning fast. I don't have a choice. The manager leaned closer. Everyone has a choice. Quit. Steal. Beg. You didn't. He didn't answer. That night, the old man from the bus station sat beside him again. You look stronger, the old man observed. I feel angrier. Good. What are you going to do with it? The boy stared at the city skyline. I don't know yet. You better decide. Anger without direction destroys. The words echoed. The next day, everything escalated. A group of boys from his former school walked into the restaurant. He recognized them instantly. One of them froze. Wait, is that him? Another laughed. No way. They approached the counter slowly. You're working here? One asked loudly. He kept wiping a table. Yes. What happened to the mansion? He didn't respond. One leaned closer. Your dad finally realized you're useless? His jaw tightened. Order your food. The boy smirked. Make sure it's hot. Wouldn't want you messing up like you always do. The restaurant went silent. The manager watched carefully. The billionaire's son swallowed his pride. Anything else? They laughed and walked away. In the kitchen, his hands shook violently. The senior worker noticed. You know them? Used to. Friends? No, the worker shrugged. Good. Friends don't laugh like that. When the boys left, one muttered just loud enough. Guess money couldn't save him. The words followed him all night. Later outside, he punched the brick wall until his knuckles bled. Why? He whispered. Why would he do this? Across the street, the black SUV remained parked. Inside, the security chief spoke softly into the phone. Sir, today was difficult for him. There was a pause. Did he fight? The father asked. No. Did he beg? No. Then he's learning. Back under the bridge that night, the rough-looking man from earlier returned. You're bleeding. It's nothing. The man grabbed his hand. That's not nothing. Who did this? I did. The man studied him carefully. You're fighting the wrong enemy. What do you know about my enemy? I know that if you waste energy punching walls, you'll never build anything. The boy looked up sharply. Build what? He asked. Your own future. He laughed bitterly. With what? I barely make enough to eat. The man smirked. Then start small. Save. Learn. Watch. Watch what? Everything. The next morning, something unexpected happened. The manager called him into the office. I got a complaint, he said. His heart dropped. From who? Those kids. What did they say? They said you gave them attitude. I didn't. I know. He looked up, surprised. I was watching, the manager continued. You handled it well. Relief washed over him. The manager slid a small envelope across the desk. Extra shifts. And a small raise. He stared at it. Why? Because you didn't explode. He took the envelope slowly. Thank you. As he walked out, the manager added quietly, whatever your father is teaching you, don't let it break you. The words stopped him. How do you know it's my father? The manager met his eyes. I've seen rich kids fall before. Only fathers throw them that hard. That night, he counted his money carefully. It wasn't much. But it was growing. He whispered to himself. I'll never beg. Days later, he noticed something strange. The black SUV again. He turned sharply and walked toward it. The engine started immediately. Stop, he shouted. The car sped away. He stood there breathing hard. He wasn't crazy. Someone was watching. That night, back at the mansion, his mother confronted his father again. He saw the car. He needs to think he's alone. This is cruel. This is necessary. Her voice cracked. You're risking losing him forever. The father's expression flickered for the first time. I already did. Back on the street, the boy sat awake, staring at the dark sky. They think I'm weak, he murmured. They think I'll crawl back. He stood up slowly. I won't. His voice was steady now. I'll survive. I'll grow. And one day, he paused. One day, I'll make him look at me again. The city lights flickered around him. He was no longer just surviving. He was deciding. And 10 years from that cold night, a phone would ring. A voice would say, "This is the World Bank International Asset Division." And everything would change. If you've stayed through this entire fall, imagine what happens when he rises. Hit subscribe right now so you don't miss the next chapter. Like the video if you believe struggle builds strength. And comment below, should he forgive his father when that call finally comes? Because the rise is even more powerful than the fall.